ANA eLearning Academy is brought to you by CDN Graysheet, a trusted source of rare coin and currency valuations since 1963.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today for the ANA eLearning Academy. The ANA would like to thank our partner Graysheet for their support of the ANA eLearning Academy. Today we have our Educational Director Rod Gillis presenting on strategies to dispose of your collection. If you have any questions during this presentation, please put them in the chat or the Q&A and I will read them to Rod at the end of his presentation. And without further ado, here is Rod.
Hi, everybody. As Logan said, my name is Rod Gillis, and I want to thank Logan. She's a huge help at being the host. Today, we're going to talk about strategies to dispose of your collection, which is not a particularly popular subject because who wants to talk about what happens when they have to either sell their collection or when they pass away and have their a collection disposed for them. But it's something that we're all going to have to do eventually. And so I put this program together several years ago because we get a lot of phone calls from people, not so much people who are into numismatics per se, but people who contact us and say, you know, I just inherited a collection. I don't know what it's worth. I don't know anything about coins. Can you help me? And we can help, but only a very limited amount. And so my purpose for you today is to be able to perhaps think about how you can set it up so that your heirs don't have to make that phone call. So that's the main purpose. I want to start out by saying that I'm not a tax expert. We will be talking about tax implications, and I have a very basic rudimentary knowledge of that. I spent some time over the past couple of days revising this PowerPoint presentation to reflect the most recent tax implications that I am aware of. As you can imagine that, you know, with Congress, it can change on a dime. So, you know, keep that in mind. All right. So with that, we'll get started. So as I mentioned to you just a moment ago, the education department at the ANA gets lots of questions about inheriting coins or coin collections. And here are some of them that we encounter. And you can fill in the blank, it can be father, grandfather, passed away and he left the family a coin collection. How can I sell it? We get that question on a weekly basis. I received this question from a lawyer, which was very interesting. He said, I have a client who collected rolls of presidential dollars. Where do I get them graded? And can you give me the names of the dealers who want to buy them? And after I had a chance to talk to the lawyer for a minute or two, he was very disappointed. I'm not sure he believed me because, of course, the answer is, well, first of all, why would you want to get presidential dollars graded? Because you're going to spend more money on getting them graded than their value. And the dealers, if you do get them graded, the dealers will probably give you $1 or less for each of them because they have to spend time cracking them out. So he was not too happy with my answer. My grandfather brought back money while he was in Europe during World War II. Can I turn the note and coins in for United States money? We get that quite often. My grandmother left me a $500 note. Can I spend it? And the answer that we give to those folks is, yes, you can. You can spend it. But you wouldn't want to because it is worth more to a collector than its denominational value. And we even get calls from banks where they'll say a customer came in with a $500 note. Can we accept it? And the answer is yes, you can. But if you have a conscience what you will do is tell them that it'd be better for them to go to a dealer to sell the $500 note for more than the $500 denomination, and then come back to the bank and put that amount of money into their savings account or checking account or what have you. Here you see a picture of a gentleman who is actually, this is during the hyperinflationary period in Germany. What he's doing is he's using the notes that were printed during this time period, early 1920s, to use as wallpaper. And these notes were very high denominations, but it was cheaper to use them as wallpaper than it was to actually try and spend them. And so we get this. My grandfather brought back money while he was in Europe during World War II. Can I turn the notes and coins in for United States money? And very often, even these notes were before World War II. They were actually right after World War I. Very often they're talking about these notes because they're such high denominations, and they're hoping that if they can transfer them into United States dollars, that they'll do very well. Here's an example. It's a 100,000 mark note. And if you can look, you'll see it's dated 1923, which is the height of the inflation in Germany. And naturally, you cannot turn these in. These are no longer honored in Germany. And so you cannot transfer them into dollars in the United States. And there are people who do collect these, but they made so many of them that chances are that they're not of great value anyway, monetary value. They are, I think, really neat parts of history. And they have great value because of that, but you're not going to get rich by having several of these notes. Thinking of the inevitable. I saw this little cartoon and it made me chuckle, so I thought I wanted to share it. Sorry, your username and password don't match. And if you're anything like me, technologically limited, this very well could happen. So I have a philosophic viewpoint that I want to share with you that involves a question. And it involves this gentleman, John Rockefeller. So his accountant was asked, the reporter once asked the accountant of John Rockefeller, how much money Rockefeller left after he died? And the accountant replied, he left all of it, which tells us that, you can't take your money with you. And so it's important that you find a suitable place for it to go when you pass away. And that brings up to the part about, do we really own our collection? This is a picture of Rockefeller, and he's giving a dime to a youngster. And it's noted that Rockefeller gave out dimes. He would give one to each child he met and told them to give cheerfully, and they would receive tenfold. It's estimated that John Rockefeller gave away $35,000 worth of dimes. It's a lot of dimes. He also founded the University of Chicago. So here's the philosophic question. Do we really own our collection? And I like to say that as coin collectors, we don't really own coins, but are their caretakers for a relatively short time. Our job is to enjoy them and leave them in the best possible condition for the next generation to enjoy. And I really do believe that. I mean, we're their caretakers, but we really don't own them because they'll be around long after we're gone. How and when to dispose of your collection? Well, you basically have two choices. You can dispose of your collection while you are still alive, or you can dispose of your collection after you have passed the great Misty Veil of Life and find yourself in the great coin shop in the sky. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is disposing of your collection while you are still alive. You can obviously sell your coins. You can give your collection to another collector, perhaps a relative. Maybe you're very fortunate and you have someone in your family who is another numismatist and will love and take care of your collection after you pass away. Or you can donate your collection. And here at the American Numismatic Association, we actually do have a lot of people who donate their collection because they're interested in not only passing it on where they know it'll be well taken care of, but giving the opportunity for their coins to be enjoyed by a lot of different people. What's important to understand is that you don't have to do just one of the three, that you can do all three. You can do a combination. And let me give you an example of that. And I'm going to use myself as an example. So donating. So what I have done with the ANA, I have put together quite a few stock certificates. And I have donated a lot of my collection to the American Numismatic Association. Here's one of the stock certificates that I'm talking about. This is a stock certificate of the Buick Oil Company. And what's interesting is that I have an antique car, a Buick, and I wanted to find a Buick stock certificate. Well, as I did my research, I found out that David Dunbar Buick, who was the founder of the Buick Company, owned it privately, and so there were no stock certificates. Now, eventually, he sold the company to General Motors, GM, and there are GM stock certificates, but there are no automobile-related Buick car stock certificates. But what I found out was that after he sold the company to General Motors, he actually built an oil company, and these stock certificates are available. And what's interesting is if you can look at the very bottom, the right-hand side of the stock certificate, you will see he signed it, DD Buick. And so I often have this available for people to see when I take my car to car shows and such, because they're interested in seeing his autograph. But the important part about this is that I have donated a good share of my stock certificates to the American Numismatic Association, because I would hope that maybe someday they'll do an exhibit on stock certificates, and that maybe a lot of people will get to enjoy and look at them. Here is David Dunbar Buick as he was older. And that's the car that I was talking about. No, I'm not going to donate my car to the ANA, but because I'm still enjoying it. But the sad part about David Buick was that he didn't handle money very well. And the oil company that you saw the stock certificate from only lasted a couple of years. It's quite a rare stock certificate, actually. And by the time of his death, he was working part-time at a school, and he was doing so poorly that he could not afford a telephone. Give your collection away. So this is what you see there is the 2018 World War I Centennial silver dollar. I was very blessed in that I played a rather important role in getting this coin minted. Actually, coming up, it was my idea to come up with a silver dollar to commemorate the brave soldiers who participated in the First World War. I noticed that there are commemorative coins for the American Revolution. There are commemorative coins for the Civil War, for the War of 1812, although at the time that I was working on this, I knew that that was coming out. It hadn't been minted yet, the War of 1812. The Korean conflict, the World War II, you name it, there's pretty much a commemorative coin for each, honoring each of the veterans who gave their last full measure. But there was nothing for our World War I veterans. And so back in 2010, I came up with the idea that we should be able to do this. And I actually looked to see if there were any veterans, United States veterans of the First World War, who were still alive in 2010. And actually there was one gentleman, his name was Frank Buckles. Frank Buckles was 110 years old. He served in World War I at the age of 16 as an ambulance driver, and he was still alive. And not only was he still alive, but he was working very hard at the age of 110 to try to get a national World War I memorial on the Mall in Washington, D.C. And so he sort of became my inspiration. And back in 2010, I began the campaign to get a coin minted to honor our veterans. And it took 5 years working with Congress. And eventually the president, it was President Obama, signed the legislation so that in 2018, we could have a World War I commemorative coin. So this coin obviously is really important to me, and I have one. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to deed this to my son. I'd like for him to have it. And so this coin is going to a relative. Selling the collection yourself to a dealer. So if you decide to sell your collection, one of the options is you can sell to a dealer, and there are pluses and minuses with that. Here are the advantages to selling to a dealer. It's the cleanest and quickest sale. If you and a dealer can agree on a price, they will either write you a check or hand you cash, and it's over. You move on from that point. That's not the only way that you can sell coins. If it's a good dealer, they will give you an explanation of the value. They'll tell you why they are offering the amount that they are offering to you. What are some disadvantages? Well, because brick and mortar dealers, they have to make a profit. I mean, it's their job, and they have to pay rent on their shops. They will offer you a wholesale price. And that is not the price that they will be able to, hopefully be able to sell the coin for. The profit they make between the wholesale price that they offer you and the retail price that they will sell the coin is the money that they actually live on. So you'll receive a wholesale price for your coin. And what's important to understand is there are no set prices. People contact us all the time and they say, well, how much is this coin worth? And I don't mean to sound smart to them, but what I tell them is it's worth whatever someone is willing to pay for it. And that is the true answer because they're variables. Let me give you an example of what I mean. So suppose that you have a collection that you want to sell. And let's say that the collection includes an 1877 Indian head cent, which is the key to the Indian head cent series. And it's a valuable coin. And let's say that you take it to dealer A, and dealer A has 5 of those coins in stock, and he's looking to, be able to sell them. He'll buy that coin, okay, but he has 5 in stock. Dealer B does not have any 1877 Indian head cents available to sell. And not only that, but he has one of his best customers on the lookout for such a coin. So my question to you is, which one do you think will probably offer the better price? Will it be dealer A, who already has several of them looking to sell, or will it be dealer B, who has none to sell and has a favorite customer that is very interested in purchasing one? Well, obviously it's going to be dealer B. So it's important to understand that there really are no set prices. I mean, we have guidebooks and such, and they give us an idea of how much a particular coin is worth. But really, a coin is only worth what someone is willing to pay for it. Another disadvantage of selling to a dealer is if you have an entire collection that you're interested in selling, they may cherry pick. In other words, they'll make an offer for the coins that they want to buy, but not all of them. So let's suppose that you do have some valuable coins that a dealer is interested in, but you also have, 5,000 wheat cents, none of which are of rarity, they're all common. Well, the dealer may have more wheat cents than he knows what to do with at any one time. And he's just not interested in purchasing them. So that often can be a problem. If you do decide that you're interested in selling to a coin dealer, a lot of people contact us and say, well, how can I find one? And the answer is, if you go to our website, money.org, you will see in the upper portion in the center, there's a word it says find a dealer. And if you'll click on find a dealer, what will happen is that will take you to this page. And what you'll do is you'll put in some very basic information and click on search. And then dealers who are affiliated and in good standing with the American Numismatic Association will come up. And you can take a look and find dealers that are close to you. You can also manipulate this page to do specialties. So say, for example, that you have paper money and you want to find a dealer who specializes in paper money. Well, you can do that from here. Selling the collection yourself or to another interested party. So you can sell your coins privately if you want to. What are the advantages to selling them privately? Well, you'll often get a better price because you may not have to sell them at wholesale as you would to a dealer. What are the disadvantages? Well, there's more work involved in your part in finding a buyer. And there are security issues. You don't want to advertise on Craigslist that you have a coin collection and you're interested in selling it, and this is where you can reach me. That's not a smart deal. What I advise people is, if they're interested in selling the coins on their own, what you may want to do is you may want to find your local club, their local coin club, and attend one of their meetings and explain that you have some coins that you're interested in selling, and then they might have good advice, or some of them may be interested in purchasing your collection. A lot of people contact us and they say, well, I'm thinking about putting my coins on eBay. And you can do that, but the only problem with that is it really requires advanced knowledge of the collection. So in other words, you need to be able to answer questions about the specific coin or coins that you are putting up, because some people may have questions. Not only that, but you really need to have someone who is very skilled in taking images of the coins, because I've seen myself on eBay, so many people have put up a coin, but it's not a very good image at all. And it doesn't show the coin in its best light. And that will be reflected in the price that someone is willing to pay. Not only that, but you may have a coin that has been cleaned, and you have an image of the coin, but for whatever reason, the image of the coin does not show that the coin has been cleaned. And then when the person buys it and they receive it and they look, and it is not what they hoped it would be, then they're not happy. And so for those reasons, I tell people that unless you really know what you're doing and you really know a lot about the coin, I would avoid eBay just for those reasons. Selling the collection yourself to an auction company. What are the advantages of selling your collection to an auction company, or having your auction company broker the collection? That's what I should say. Generally, they will realize the best prices. And the reason for that is because they are selling to interested parties. Only people who are interested in purchasing coins are going to be interested in the auction company. So they will reach all the people who are interested in buying coins. That's why they're there. What are the disadvantages? Well, there's a time element. So if you have coins that you wish an auction company to sell at one of their auctions, they're not going to have an auction the very next day. There will be weeks, maybe even months until their next auction. And so you'll need to wait for that time. The other thing is that auction companies are generally only interested in very rare and valuable coins. Okay, so your coins that are only worth a couple dollars, they're not going to be interested in. And it makes sense because they have to spend time working with the coin, putting the coin up for sale, advertising. And so that involves a lot of effort and expense on their part. So they're only really interested in rare and valuable coins. Okay. Payment collected after settlement. So after the auction takes place, they're not going to be able to that day get you your money. The person who bought the coin has to send that money in. There's processing fees and such. And so you're not going to get your money until sometime after the actual auction takes place. So if you're looking to sell a collection because you want to get a hold of the money rather quickly, an auction company may not be your best play. Tax implications of selling your collection. Do I have to pay income tax on coins that I sell from my collection? And the answer is absolutely. How do I determine the profit that I made? I don't have a record of my purchase price. The best solution is to figure out the approximate time that you purchased the coins. Find the value of the coins at that time and deduct that number from the selling price. This is your profit. If you need help with that, old guidebooks of United States coins, red books, are invaluable for this project. So let's say that you bought a coin in 1979, and you can look in the red book to see what the value for that coin was in 1979, and you'll just assume that that's the purchase price. And then whatever the coin you sell, whatever you sell the coin for, at that point, the difference between that price and what its value was in 1979 is your profit margin. Can I deduct a loss of value when I sell my coins? And the answer is it depends. If you are an investor, in other words, if that is your job, and you've realized a profit for several years, the answer is yes. But if you're just a regular collector like you and I, who bought coins for enjoyment purposes, the answer is no. What to do with the money once you have sold your coins? Well, one of the things that you can do with the money that the profit from your collection is that you can put it in something called a CRT, which is a charitable remainder trust. And what happens is that you actually divide the money into two places. You divide it up into money that will go into a charity, and you will also put some of the money in a life insurance trust. And what happens is that the money that will go into the life insurance trust, once you pass away, will go to your children tax-free. Okay. Some of the money you will contribute to a charity, but you can also set it up that in the trust, a check, let's say quarterly, will go to you. Okay, so those are the ways that a CRT can be of help to you and help whittle away at some of the tax implications of the money that you've made, the profit that you've made from selling your coins. And it also benefits your children in a tax-free way. All right, let's change now and let's talk about coins liquidated upon your demise. So in this instance, you're not selling the coins at all. You are going to hold on the coins until you pass away, and that your family is going to take care of the collection at that point. Most important thing, make sure that you leave a will. And what should, concerning your coin collection, what should be in the will? Well, you want to make sure that you say the location of your collection. So if you keep your collection in a bank vault or in a safe, you want to make that known, because without your heirs knowing where to find the collection, it will do them little good. You also want to have the location of your inventory, the inventory that you take, and we'll talk about that in a little bit later. You also want to include instructions as to who and how the collection should be sold and where the proceeds go. And most importantly, you want to keep all this information up to date. Getting started. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to organize your collection, but you also want to keep the recipient in mind. What I mean by that is that you're going to want to organize your collection and use organizational tools that are easy for people who are not involved in coin collecting to be able to understand. People contact us all the time and they say to us, what is the best software that you can recommend in which I can organize our collection? And we tell people that really just using an Excel file is a great way to go and organize your collection, because Excel files are very easy to manipulate. You can put in titles of what you want to record information. And what we have done on our website, we have even put together a basic Excel file for you to be able to download on your own and use that and manipulate it so that it can suit your needs. Here are the things that we recommend that you want to include. You want to include the country of origin, especially if you are a world coin collector. We want you to include the denomination, and we want you to include the grade for each of the coins. How do I establish for taxes the value of coins that I inherited? This is a great question. And the answer to that question is, when you inherit coins, your basis, what your taxable gains are based on when you sell the coins, is set at the fair market value of the coins when the decedent died. Okay, that's really important. And let me explain what that means. So if you inherit a collection of coins from your grandfather, it's immaterial as to how much he paid for those coins and when he paid for them. The clock really starts running when in this case, your grandfather passed away. What the value of the coin was when your grandfather passed away is the fair market value of the coin. So, people are always worried, how am I going to find out when he bought the coin and how much he paid for it? Doesn't matter. It only starts when he passed away. Whatever the value of the coin is at that time, and the difference that you sell the coin for when you eventually sell the collection, that's the tax basis on the inherited collection. For example, your grandfather started collecting coins when he was young and paid only $300 for his collection. But the coins are now worth $5,000. Your basis is set at $5,000. Therefore, if you turn around and sell them for $5,000, you won't pay any taxes, because even though the coins are worth $4,700 more than what your grandfather paid, the step up in basis leaves you with no taxable gains, because your basis equals the sale price. So again, in plain English, what that means is that you don't have to be concerned about what your grandfather paid for the coins and when he bought them. It's only the value of the collection on the date that he passed away. That's the most important information that you'll need to know. And that's what will affect the tax basis for that inherited collection. Federal state tax schedule. So the federal government only imposes an estate tax, not an inheritance tax. And I looked this up fairly recently. For a single individual, roughly for the federal estate tax to take place, you're looking at a minimum of $11.7 million. And if you're married, it's $23.4 million. So if you're a ham and egg collector like I am, who is putting together a set of Franklin half dollars, you're not going to need to worry about the federal estate tax schedule because it's not going to affect you. What if the family has inherited a collection? That means an estate tax might come into play. Is there anyone within the family who is interested in the collection? If so, perhaps they'd be interested in purchasing the collection from the other family members. If the family inherits the collection, are there inheritance taxes? And the answer is, it depends, but spouses are exempt. So, for instance, if I passed away, but I wanted the collection to go to my wife after I died, she would not have to worry about inheritance or estate taxes. What you see on the left-hand side is an updated map that shows states that have an estate tax, and they are the ones in yellow. And then there are states that have an inheritance tax, and they are the ones in blue. And then if you happen to live in Delaware it may just be Maryland, just Maryland, then if you're lucky to live in Maryland, then you have to pay both estate and inheritance taxes. Isn't that great? So that's the story. So as you can see, most of the country, you do not have to worry about estate or inheritance taxes. There are some where you only have to worry about estate taxes. There are some where you only have to worry about inheritance taxes. And unless you live in Maryland, you don't have to worry about paying both. Donating all or part of your collection. You can donate your collection to a charitable organization, and that will allow for a tax deduction based on the value of your donation. But here's what's important. The organization is responsible for providing you with a receipt of your donation, but they cannot appraise the value. An appraisal is the responsibility of the donator. So, for example, the American Numismatic Association is a nonprofit organization. And so by law, we're unable to appraise the collection. A lot of people want to donate to us, and they say, well, appraise the collection and include that with the receipt when you send it back to me so that I can use that for my income tax. And we just can't do that. You can get it appraised by a dealer if you want, or you can appraise it yourself, and that's between you and the IRS. But it's not a question of we won't do it. It's a matter of that we can't do it. So, and a lot of people aren't aware of that. Federal standard tax deductions versus itemized deductions. So here's the latest and greatest. So in 2020, the standard deduction, if you were single, was $12,400. Married filing jointly was $24,800. So unless your total deductions equal those amounts, you're going to be taking the standard deduction. What I'm driving at is that most donations that we receive, a collection of world coins or a couple of 100 wheat cents or whatever, is not going to fall or make a difference in terms of your standard deduction. All right. It may, and like I said, we will provide a detailed receipt of the coins that you sent us if necessary. And you'll also get a real nice letter from our executive director. So donating to a charitable organization can allow for a tax deduction based on the value of your donation, but it has to be pretty substantial. The organization is responsible for providing you with a receipt for your donation, but they cannot appraise the value. An appraisal is the responsibility of the donator. All right, so let's suppose that you want to donate your collection. Where can you donate it? Well, I'm here to tell you that the American Numismatic Association is a great place to donate your coins. The ANA Museum or Education Department can use your coins. What do I mean by that? Well, when the Education Department receives a donation, one of the first things that we do is we look at the donation, and we have a pretty good idea of what is needed at the ANA Museum. And if we find a coin or a piece of paper money or a token or whatever that we believe that the museum does not have, we place that one to the side and we ask the museum to find out if that's something that they need for our museum collection. Most donations, though, fall into categories that we use for the following: coins for A's. We can use certain coins for a dollar program. We also have the Ancient Coin Project, the Early American Copper Coin Project, Scout Merit Badge and Fun with Money workshops, and Young Numismatist auctions. All of those that I've listed, from coins for A's all the way down to Young Numismatist auctions, involve youngsters. So when people contact us and say, hey, you know, I've got just some wheat cents and you probably don't want them, or I have some world coins that I brought back from vacation and you probably don't want them, the answer to those folks is, you would be surprised. Chances are we can find good homes for all of the coins that you have, especially for youngsters. All right, excuse me 1 second. So we can use world coins, we can use world paper money, and we can use United States coins, regardless of value. We can use United States paper money. Let's talk about some of the programs. Let's talk about coins for A's. So if you have a youngster who is going to school, or they can be homeschooled, and they earn 3 or more A's in a marking period, if they send us their report card, we'll send to them a world coin, a really neat world coin with a challenge to learn as much about the country that minted their coin as possible. And every time they earn 3 or more A's in another marking period, we'll send them a different world coin. And I can guarantee you we'll send them a different world coin because I keep their information in an Excel file, so I can look at exactly the coins that we've sent to them and make sure that they get a different one every time. So in theory, you could have a youngster who starts off in kindergarten and finishes in high school and earns 3 A's in every marking period. Standard marking periods are 4 per year, and they'll earn 4 coins, different world coins every year. And we've actually had students who have done that. And the parents usually love this program because it promotes academic excellence. I can't tell you the number of times we've had parents who contacted us and said, you know, my son or my daughter was floundering in school. It's not that they're not smart. It's just that they were bored for whatever reason. And now they have a real incentive to do well in school because they look forward to getting a coin in the mail and finding out all they can about the coin. So this is an extremely popular program. So if you have some world coins, even if they have limited value, we can use them and put them in a good home. The Dollar Project. So if what we do, if a youngster is a member, they can go through 4 different activities. And what they will do is the first activity involves a coin rubbing, in which once they turn that in, they'll get sent a Sacagawea or Susan B. Anthony or presidential dollar. The next activity that they need to complete is that they will send to me an image of a dollar coin, and they will tell us 5 events that happened in the world and 5 events that happened in the United States during the year that coin was minted. Number 3 is they design a commemorative dollar coin of their own. And for that, they get an actual silver dollar coin, whether it's a silver eagle or a peace dollar or a Morgan dollar. And the last one is a choose your own adventure, where they actually go onto the website, and it's a trip that they take through the mint, and they have to make sure that they have the correct answers. And for that, they receive a United States Mint set. Okay, so they can receive some really neat prizes. Now, this project is for all youngsters who are 12 and under, who are members of the ANA. And the reason they have to be 12 and under is because we also have more advanced projects, the ancient copper, or the ancient project, and the copper coin, early American copper coin projects, that are a little bit more rigorous, a little bit more involved. And we figure that the Dollar Project is a good way to get younger YNs, get them an idea as to what it takes to be able to earn the coins. You're going to find that something that is very important to us concerning YNs: we never give coins away. All our youngsters earn coins. And we say that because we believe that youngsters who earn coins will value their coins more. And so the coins that you send to us as donations, we use them. We also have YN auctions. YNs can earn YN dollars, and the YN they can earn them by doing certain tasks. And we have a monthly YN auction where we have 3 items that the youngsters can bid on with their YN dollars. And then in September, we always have a yearly YN auction where we have some really nice coins that people have donated to us that the youngsters can bid on from the YN dollars that they've earned during that year. So again, irregardless of the value, most likely if you donate coins to us, we'll be able to find very good homes for them. Here's a book, and this is the last thing I want to mention. We have a corresponding book that goes along with this talk that I've given you today, called Managing and Settling a Numismatic Estate. And it's a great book that gives a lot of information that I was not able to give you today because we have such a limited time together, but that you may want to consider. And it can be purchased on Amazon for $9.95. Okay, so Logan, if you have anybody who has some questions, I'll do my best to answer them now.
All right. Any thoughts on selling a collection through an overseas, mainly the UK or Australia, auction house?
Yeah, I don't. I know that there are third-party. Actually, I know that Heritage has set up some auction houses. I know that they have one in England. So that might be the option that you can look for. Other than that, I'm really not aware of the effectiveness of outside auction houses outside of the United States. I'm sure they're very reputable ones, but I'm just not aware of them because I don't deal with them on a daily basis.
Yeah, and this same person asked the next question, which says Heritage has documentation prepared and available to all as examples of handling collections after one dies. Are there any other organizations that have documentation available to collectors?
That's a good question, and not that I'm aware of. Heritage does a really good job about doing this. And actually, the gentleman who's in charge, I believe he's in charge of the bureau in Great Britain, is a gentleman named Cole Shennewerk, and Cole Shennewerk was a YN. He was actually a YN of the year here at the ANA. So I know Cole very well, and he's very reputable. So if you should ever be in a situation where you want to contact the London Bureau and you're actually talking to Cole, you're talking to a quality individual.
Awesome. When might it be appropriate to grade circulated coins that be in fine condition or lower?
Okay, that's a really good question. So the answer is that it really depends on their value. So there are several third-party grading companies out there, and they charge a certain amount for the coins that they are grading and encapsulating. What I suggest to you is to find out their price structure, do a little bit of homework on your part, find out their price structure to see how much it costs. And then based on your coin that you're planning to submit, have an idea as to its general value so that you can decide whether or not it would be worth putting the coin, sending the coin to a third-party grading company and incurring that charge if it's still worth it. I will say that sending coins to third-party grading companies generally make them more liquid. And the reason that happens is because it takes a lot of the scare away from the coins being counterfeit. But if sending in a common date, let's say Lincoln Cent, to a third-party grading company with the idea of doing that so that you can sell it, you may lose money on the deal. So you want to be very aware of the value of the coins that you're sending to them. Now, if you want to send the coins to the third-party grading company because you're not planning to sell them, you just want to include them in the collection, and you like the fact that it will be encapsulated in a slab, that's a different matter entirely. But if the object is that you're interested in selling the coin, you really want to decide whether it would be worth it incurring the amount to slab it as to what you'll be able to sell the coin for.
All right. What kind of gold coins risk gold bullion? In the UK, bullion is taxed and coins are not. So I think they're asking if there's a difference like that in America.
Okay. So here's what I know. I know that if you wanted to set up in the United States a retirement, you can do that using Silver Eagles. I do know that. And a lot of people contact me and they say, my financial advisor told me that I can buy proof Silver Eagles and put them into my retirement. Is that true? And my answer is yes, you can, but I'm not sure the logic behind buying only proof Silver Eagles, because generally they are more expensive than mint state uncirculated Silver Eagles. And so why would you want to spend more money putting something in your retirement than you'd want to buy the same amount of silver for the least possible price to include in your retirement. So I'm not quite sure why some financial advisors specify that you need to buy proof, because you don't. Okay. Real quick story. I had a woman contact me several years ago, and she said to me, I don't believe that dollars will be worth anything by the time I retire. She said, so I'm thinking about liquidating my retirement, and I want you to tell me what one coin you would recommend me buying. And of course, I can't give an answer like that. But I went home that night, and at dinner, I was telling my wife, I said, I had this woman who contacted me, and she's going to liquidate all her retirement. And she wanted me to tell her which one coin to buy for her retirement. And my wife says, I can't believe that. And I said, yeah, I can't believe that she would ask that question. And my wife said, no, I can't believe that she would contact you for financial advice.
Wendy is always the character. She's quite funny. All right, last question. This person has a large Canadian coin collection, and I think this would probably apply to other nation collecting. Should I use a Canadian auction house to get better prices, or is even a Canadian dealer better than a US one?
Boy, that's a really good question. No one's ever asked me that before. I would say that I would start out with a Canadian dealer, only because I think a Canadian dealer would have more of an expressed interest in the coins than your typical United States dealer. Now, I'm speaking in very broad generalities. Are there United States dealers who would be interested in the collection? Yes. But I would start out, if it's a Canadian collection, and you can find a Canadian dealer, I would find out there. By the way, there are books that reveal the value of Canadian coins. There's things like the Canadian Digest, and then there's the equivalent to the Red Book for Canadian coins. And is it Chilton or Charlton? It's I'm sorry, I should know the answer, but it's something like that. But there are books that deal specifically with the value of Canadian coins. That's a really neat question, and I've never given a tremendous amount of thought to that. I wish I could give you a better answer, but that's really the first time I've even heard that question.
Yeah. All right. Well, do you have anything else you would like to add before I go ahead and close us out?
No, I defer. I only want to thank Logan again for her help and expertise. She's invaluable in doing this. And I also want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, because I know we're all busy. I want you to thank you for the time that you spent with me. I consider it an honor to be able to work with you. And if you have any specific questions that you may think of that we didn't get to today, you can always contact me at my email address, which is Gillis, GILLIS @money.org. And I'll do my best to be able to answer or find an answer for you in a timely fashion.
Wonderful. Again, thank you all for joining us. And thank you again to our e-learning partner Graysheet for their support of our e-learning academy and making it possible. And thank you to Rod for such a wonderful presentation and extremely informational, and I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. We will be having a webinar every day this week at 10 a.m. for the Money Talk series, as well as Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, and we hope you join us for those as well. Have a wonderful day.